Hello everyone, welcome to Strategic Marketing Management course. My name is Nuresh Iranda, a lecturer in charge for this course. So today we are going to start the very first lecture, Introduction to Strategic Marketing. At the same time, I invite you to check our university Moodle in order to see the L1 form with respect to this course to get all the other details as well. Right, this is the outline of the today's session. First, we try to define what is meant by strategy, and then we move into explain the shifting source of competitive advantage, how the competitive advantage sources are being changed in the recent past, then market-driven strategy and its components. Fourth one, new era for strategic marketing. Basically how business environmental dynamics are changing and how those dynamics are influencing the organization. Marketing and the strategy interface, how these two components are combined together. Last one, strategic marketing and its process. So which is the final one where we try to explain what is meant by strategic marketing by looking at its process. Okay, so before we move into strategic marketing, it is better to understand what is meant by the term strategy. So you are going to have even the strategic management course in this final year. So there you will learn this strategy thing in very detail. But I would like to pay your attention for this particular definition, which is very important to understand the underlying meaning or the real meaning of strategy. So if we just tell what is strategy, it is all about how an organization can be different from rest of the other organizations. So what they can really do in order to make them very different, we can simply say as the strategy. So in this definition, which is one of your recommended readings as well, so Johnson and Scholes in 2016, they defined the term strategy in a very comprehensive manner. So there you can see the bold terms like direction, scope, long term. So these are the very important key terms when you are defining the term strategy. So if you just go from the beginning here, so what it says, strategy is the direction and scope of an organization over the long term. So when you take any organization, so all these organizations have to work towards their long-term success. So when they are working towards their long-term success, so we look at what is long-term first of all. Long-term does not tell, you can't explain it in terms of the number of years. It basically depends on what kind of organization that you are looking for. For example, if you take an organization like Maliban, which has a very big history in our country, so in that organization, even 50-60 years can be the long term. But if you take an organization which was started very recently but has achieved a tremendous success, for example, if you take one of the high-tech companies like for example Facebook, which was started somewhere around 2000, as I remember, it was started somewhere around 2006-7. So in that organization, even 5 years can be a long term where they can achieve a tremendous success within that particular period of time. So it's not about the number of years, it's basically how far, how long you particularly need to change your organization. Mainly your asset base, mainly your customer base, and basically your competitiveness. So that's basically long term. So in that particular long term, what is your direction? Direction simply it is about your organization's purpose. Purpose, what it includes, vision, mission, mission statement basically, and then your corporate objectives and even corporate values. So that basically shows what are the directions that your organization wants to pursue in the future. What is a scope? A scope is about two things. Scope number one is all about what kind of activities that you are doing at the moment, and also what kind of markets that you are operating at the moment. So it includes two things: what are the activities you do and what are the markets that you operate. So the strategy is simply about, in the long run, what is your direction and what is your scope. That is the simplest definition that we can provide out of this main explanation. So this strategy achieves, or which achieves, advantage for the organization. What kind of advantage the strategy gives you? It gives you the competitive advantage. It means the advantage that you have over the other organizations, which is what really important for the organization to prosper in the marketplace. And then for the organization, through its configuration of resources, when you are pursuing the strategy, what you need is your resources. You need lot of type of resources: physical, human resources, even your money, the production plants. All these things are needed. So today even we can classify our resources into tangible and intangible. Particularly from a marketing perspective, I think more than the tangible resources, what really matters at the moment is intangible resources. So as an organization, when you develop your strategy, you need to mainly focus on building up a very good intangible resource base. How this is happening? Where it is happening? Within a challenging environment. What is this challenging environment? It is an environment where all the dynamics are happening, all the environmental forces are changing, perspectives are changing, your industry is changing, your competitors are changing. So that's where your strategy is basically taken place, which is very, very challenging at the moment. And what you do, you're going to meet the needs of the markets through the strategy. What you mean by the markets here? Markets is all about your customers. How you are going to create value for your customers. How you are going to identify the pain points these customers are having, and then how you can create a good product or service to meet the needs of these customers. So that's basically the purpose of your strategy, mainly the marketing strategy. Not only that, organizations have to fulfill stakeholder expectations. So more than the customers, you have some other stakeholders as well. Who is a stakeholder? Stakeholder is any individual or a group of person who can influence the organization and who are influenced by the organization. So when you take the stakeholder, it has a big list of people, big list of groups. Who are they? So including customers, shareholders, your competitors, your employees, your director board, managers, and even some outside parties like pressure groups. So all these people are there. So you need to satisfy the expectations of all these stakeholders in order to be really effective in the marketplace. So strategy is what? So it's a very, very lengthy discussion. So we'll try to make it very simple during our lectures. Right, now let's take an example to explain the term strategy. So I have taken here MS Holdings, which is one of the largest apparel manufacturing organizations in Sri Lanka. So the terms are given in your right hand side, which reflect the term strategy. First one is direction. So direction at MS, what it is? So at MAS, their direction or their corporate purpose has explained using three terms: vision, mission, and the corporate values. So vision at MAS is to inspire, innovate, create value, and respect humanity. So when you listen to that few terms, you can see they have moved beyond from a shareholder point of view to a stakeholder perspective to define their vision. So that is the dream that they want to achieve. So when they are going for this dream or the vision, what is their mission statement or what they do right now? So they are doing inspiring innovation and sustainability, build talent and strategic relationships, also achieving excellence and ambitious profitable growth. So these are the activities they do in order to achieve their vision. And what are the corporate values at MAS? Honesty and integrity, humility, passion for excellence, freedom with accountability, trust and mutual respect. So these are the corporate values that they have as an organization under their corporate values. So let's take the next term, that is a scope of the organization. You remember scope consists of two things. One is what are the markets the organization is operating and what are the activities you do within those markets. So at MAS, the markets I like to classify in this way. One is their global apparel market, where they have the global buying firms, for example, like Nike, Gap, Banana Republic, Victoria's Secret. So these are very big buying companies or brands in the world where the MAS is supplying their products. So this is one of the market. The other market, I like to see it as a kind of a local and regional market where they have brands like Amante. So those are their own brands. We call it own brand manufacturing. Shortly, we call OBM manufacturing. So that is another kind of market. So these are the markets that they have at the moment. So what are the activities they do within those markets under the scope? So what they are doing, they are making apparel, they do logistics, they do innovations, they undertake a lot of sustainability initiatives. So those are the activities they do. So that's basically the scope, the markets and the activities you perform within your markets. The next thing is about long term. So it's basically about what you do in your long run in the organization. So when you look at an organization like MAS, they work a lot of they are working on things like sustainability, innovation, and building up strategic relationships. So those are for the long term survival, long term competitiveness of this organization. The next thing is the competitive advantage. What is that? Where the MAS is better than the competitors. So what we can see when you're analyzing their corporate profile, they are good at in quality, they are good at in innovativeness, they are good at in quickness in responding to the buyers. So based on that, they try to build up competitive advantage in the global apparel market. The next thing is about their resources. So mainly in strategic management, we like to classify the resources into tangible and intangible. So what are the tangible resources? Enormous number of tangible resources they have. Production plants, their supply chain management practices, the people that they have, the training centers that they have, all these things are their tangible resources. But more than that, they have a lot of intangible resources. Their talents, the creativity of their employees, their brand names, which are very, very valuable for the organization, the strategic relationships that they built up with their customer base, that is basically the global buyers, as well as with some other stakeholders, and also their reputation, which is also part of the intangible resource. So resources are like that. They have a huge list of resources under their corporate profile. Next thing is the environment. As an organization, you have to analyze your environmental dynamics. When you look at MAs, they are operating in a global environment. So global environmental dynamics they have to analyze. And not only that, the Sri Lankan economy, Sri Lankan social standards, those things are also having a impact on their organizations' activities. I think right now we can see that. For example, due to the current issue of COVID-19, almost all of their production plants have been shut down. So that has affected their operations to a very great extent. The next one is about the markets. So from marketing perspective, so this is the most critical part because MAS has to satisfy their final customers or end customers needs. So you need to do a lot of research to identify what are the pain points the customers have. What are the issues customers have with respect to the current products which are available in the marketplace. Maybe those products are from their competitors as well. So you analyze it, try to understand what they really need, and try to provide your offerings to satisfy the customers in order to create a higher customer value. The last point, in strategy, you have to answer the stakeholders' requirements and their needs. So at MAs, there's a large number of stakeholders are there. Global buyers, suppliers, employees, local community, government, even pressure groups, large number of people are there. But the big problem is these stakeholders' needs are not similar. So there are a lot of mismatches are there. Shareholders are expecting high returns. At the same time, your customers are expecting a good quality product. Your employees are expecting a lot of benefits for their employment. So you have to manage all these stakeholders very well. And we will talk about that point under what we call stakeholder management later. Right. When you look at this list, now you can see strategy is a very broad term. So what you need to do when you define the term strategy with respect to any organization, we need to integrate all these components together in order to define it very clearly. Right. Now in this slide, what I want to tell you is that strategy is the link between the organization and its environment. Or in other words, strategy connects the organization with the dynamics of the environment. So here in this slide, the organization consists of vision, mission, capabilities, structure, systems, and culture. So these are internal factors, and these internal factors are going to be aligned with the environmental changes. So what consists in the environmental changes? Best factors, political, economic, social, technological factors. So these macro forces are very much changing all the time. So you want to connect, you want to align your organization with these environmental changes. And not only that, industry also changing, competitors are changing, obviously customers are changing. That is what really important for marketing people to understand. So in strategic marketing, what really important, you have to understand the dynamics of your customers or changes of your customers. And according to these changes, you have to change your internal organization environment, like vision, mission, capabilities. All these things should align with the changes of the customers. And the final component is suppliers. They are also changing. So all these environmental changes you want to match with the organization using the strategy. One more thing is important here. As a strategist or from a strategic point of view, you have to think that your organization enemy is not only your competitors. So what is the main enemy, or who is the main enemy of your organization? That is the environmental change. So you have to deal with this enemy of environmental change by using a proper strategy. Right. Now this is something interesting to understand why organizations have to seriously consider about the marketing today. So when you look at, I got this one from Harvard Business Review, but it says the shifting source of competitive advantage in the marketplace. What we have been doing in the past, you can see upstream activities. The left hand side of this picture tells you the upstream activities. What are the upstream activities in your value chain? So that's basically what kind of production, what kind of logistics, what kind of procurement or sourcing or innovation from a product perspective, what you do there. So it includes the upstream activities include what? Sourcing, production, logistics, innovation from a product perspective, building a better product. It's not about you're trying to develop something in line with the customer requirement. It's just the innovation, it's just the invention actually. So earlier organizations were focusing on these upstream activities as the most important ones to determine the competitive advantage. But what is happening right now? You come to the right hand corner of this picture, downstream activities. What we need to do for our customers, we have to shape the customer perceptions, we have to change what customers are thinking about our products. We need to innovate, not simply producing a product. We need to innovate the way that we are offering the product. For example, you take People's Bank in our country, which is one of the bank which had a big history, big legacy, and they have a huge customer base, mainly the state sector or the government sector employees. Salaries are deposited there. So they were doing a conventional bank. And very recently, particularly after 2010, what they found, there's a big challenge. The bank was going in a very traditional way. But the banking industry, when you look at the competition, it is changing. So they wanted to do the same banking with a very novel approach. So they came up with what we call self-banking units. They came up with applications which can be downloaded to your mobile phone to do the banking activities by just staying at home. So you do not a product innovation, you change the way that customers are treated from your product. So there you can see Taylor offering to consumption circumstances. The way the customers are consuming your product is going to change. The way that you do the banking is changed because of the self-banking unit. It reduces the customer cost and it reduces a lot of risk which is involved with the customers. And not only that, it really advantages to the organization as well. And also, building a cumulative advantage, you have to harness network effects, particularly in the modern day customers. They are spreading the messages to the social media, so you have to capture that. You have to get that advantage, accrue and deploy customer data. Lot of data is being available now. If you look at the artificial intelligence, which is basically a kind of a huge amount of data that you can accumulate and get that information, and then you try to build up your competitiveness on that. So that's basically downstream activities. So what we can see today, there's a shift of the sources of competitive advantage from upstream activities to downstream activities in organizations. Moving in slide, it basically explains this particular situation. So I want you to pay your attention to this thing, or the middle line, which gives you in Blue color, to compete effectively, companies must shift their focus from upstream to downstream activities in your value chain. So this is really important, particularly from the today's perspective. What is important today? You have to move to the downstream activities. This is where you can create the competitive advantage. Right, now this section is where we are moving from strategy to the strategic marketing. Now we need to talk about this very important concept of market driven strategy. Market driven strategy means when you are developing your business strategy, you need to have a clear understanding of your market, which mainly consists of your customers as well as your competitors. So there are a lot of stakeholders in a market, and then you need to have a very good understanding about them when you build up your business strategies. So that's what we call market driven strategy. Your strategies are based on the understanding of the marketplace. So here, a really important thing is you need to do a lot of research about the market and what are the changes which are happening in your marketplace prior to build up your strategies, because uh, sometimes knowingly or unknowingly there may be a lot of dynamics, lot of changes in the marketplace, that all these things should be considered when you build up your strategies. So if you go to the third line, market driven strategy provides a company wide perspective which mandates more effective integration of activities and processes that impact customer value. So what it basically tells, when you develop your strategy, you need to build up a higher customer value at the end of the day in order to enhance your competitive advantage. So these are the components or the characteristics which should consist in a market driven strategy. So there is no order here. So I will start from the one available in the top, becoming market orientation, or we need to have a good understanding about our customers prior to build up your strategy. And then we move into the determining distinctive capabilities. We have to find out what are the very much differentiating capabilities that our organization has. And then moving from there, customer value and the capabilities match. You have some customer values to be satisfied, and that should match with your capabilities in the organization, because there may be a lot of opportunities in the marketplace, but if you don't have the capability to match that one, there's no point. So that's matching is really important. And then if you do that way, the final component is all about achieving superior performance. So we move from here to each of these characteristics. So the first thing, I think you can really understand it very easily. It's all about becoming market oriented. It's about systematically you have to collect the data about the marketplace, and then you need to continuously create customer value through those market information that you gather. And then achieving market orientation involves use of lot of superior organization skills in understanding and satisfying customers. You need to have a lot of organization skills to do this, particularly your research capabilities, your innovation capabilities. All these things are very much crucial to become market oriented. Moreover, market oriented demands ethical behavior within the organization and with all the stakeholders. Today, it's very much important for you to be ethical in your marketing activities. When you try to be market oriented, you need to do what is effective. At the same time, you have to consider the efficiency, but effectiveness or these ethical behavior is really important. Finally, becoming market oriented requires the involvement and support of the entire workforce. You can't do this alone by the marketing manager and the marketing team. You need to have integrative support from all the staff members. That means when you become market oriented, you need to practice internal marketing in order to be really successful in market orientation. The next one, I will just show you an example where this organization called Godrej and Boys Limited from India, they built up this product called Chew to Cool, which is a portable refrigerator mainly targeting the rural women. So this is a product which talks about market orientation a lot. Now when you look at the features of this product, you see they are starting from the right hand corner, less electricity consumption and portable. Electricity consumption is very less and it's a portable product. Why you need to have a portable product? Because this is rural India we are talking here. For these people, they may be sometimes within 2-3 years time, they may be shifting their place of residence from one place to another place due to drought, due to some other serious weather conditions. So they need to have a portable product and also operated by even a car battery. Why? Because there's no electricity in this area, rural areas in India. You need to have a car battery. Through that you should be able to charge this refrigerator. More importantly, the next point, distributed through microfinance institutions and NGOs, non-governmental organizations in India. These people are not visiting supermarkets to buy this product. So what is closer to them is basically microfinancial institutions where they can take a loan, and through that loan, using installment basis, they can buy this. To keep little amount of vegetables, milk and leftover for a couple of days. This is the purpose of this product. Here they are not going to keep lot of items inside this because they don't have money to buy a lot of things. So what they are keeping is just leftovers of their food items today for the tomorrow's consumption. Do not need ice and huge storage capacity. Obviously they don't need that. So what you can say, this Godrej company should have developed a refrigerator with lot of innovative features. Huge refrigerators they can build up, but they did not do this. Why? It is not what the market needs. So when you become market oriented, what is really important, you have to develop what is really needed to the market instead of what you are good at in doing. Did you get my point? You need to build up, you need to develop something need to the market, not what you are good at producing. So Godrej, maybe they are really good consumer electronics company. They have done a wonderful refrigerator, but they didn't do. Why? But the market does not need. So that's the key point in becoming market oriented. So this is a good example how you can become market oriented in your innovations, in your products. When you are now this is actually more than a product. This is a kind of business model, because here you can see a product which is a very different one, which is distributed through a microfinancial institutions, and which is going for a different set of customers in the marketplace. So which is a market or which is called a business model innovation. So in market oriented, it's really important for you to do your innovations, not just product innovations, but business model innovations in order to create more value to the marketplace. Right, now this is an example for market orientation from Sri Lanka. Now this is about People's Bank, the government bank that all of us know. So what happened in the banking sector? There's a new generation of customers who do not like to go for the bank physically to do their banking activities. So they demand for modern financial products that has to be done through screens, through your mobile phones, or just by visiting a self-banking unit. Dynamic world is also forcing innovations. We have to do innovations in order to be competitive. So what happened? These innovative digital banking solutions were came up in the People's Bank. As a result of that, what happened? Their customers are empowered. Now take for example, if a person has only 100 rupees, will that person go to a bank branch and deposit that 100 rupees in front of the bank staff? Obviously no. So what happened due to these digital and innovative banks, even if you have 100 rupees or 200 rupees, you go to the self banking unit and you can deposit that one for your account. So you see the customer empowerment is also being taken place. And also they feel very comfortable. 24 hours, 7 days operation. Shortly we call 24/7 banking operations are there right now. Now as a result of this, what happened? All these innovations are based on customer requirements. So customer requirement is the key at People's Bank when they design this particular innovation. So this is a very good example to be market oriented mainly through your innovative business models. So these are some further characteristics of market orientation. Please remember we are still in the number 1. So here market focus or customer focus, competitive intelligence. You need to have a good understanding of your competitors and what they really do, what are their strategies, what are their assumptions are. Cross-functional coordination. If you want to be market oriented, you need to have interdepartmental coordination because you can't do this thing alone. And finally it leads to higher performance or superior organization performance at the end of the day. So these are just some characteristics of market orientation. You need to have all these things together in order to create market oriented company. The second one in market driven strategy is distinctive capabilities. What is a capability actually? Capability is all about your ability to use your organization resources. Sometimes you may have a lot of resources, but the point is, even the resources are there. If you don't have the capability, there's no point, right? And those capabilities should be distinctive, very different to your organization. Then only it creates more benefits to your organization. So if you just read the first sentence given here, capabilities are complex bundles of skills and accumulated knowledge exercised through organization processes that enable firms to coordinate activities and make use of their assets. So it's a collection of your skills and knowledge and your expertise over a period of time, and then you are using it, and basically you are using that to utilize your resources. That's where you can create value. A distinctive capability offers a higher contribution to superior higher customer value. If your capabilities are very distinctive, very unique to your organization, then people will come to your organization to get their product or service. And also this distinctive capability enables an organization to deliver value to customers in a substantially more cost-effective manner. If you have good capabilities, unique capabilities, you can do things at a very low cost. So distinctive capability is really important. It helps you to be differentiated. It helps you to be cost effective as well. Next thing I just borrowed from Michael Porter. The essence of strategy is in the organizational activities, choosing to perform activities differently or to perform different activities than the rivals. So what it says, when you talk about the strategy, it's all about make yourself different. Don't try to be like others. You try to be yourself. While being yourself, you try to create a uniqueness within you. So that's basically what you can get out of the distinctive capabilities. If you have good distinctive capabilities, it allows you to build up a good strategy. It allows you to be very different in the marketplace compared to the competitors. Right. So we'll move in to discuss this thing further, distinctive capabilities. So it's basically skills, accumulated knowledge, which is applied through organization processes as we discussed earlier. Organization capabilities and organization processes are closely related here. Right? So when you have good capabilities, you can obviously see good organization processes at the end of the day to create customer value. Now, the next point is really important. Can you keep these distinctive capabilities without changing? No, you need to develop it. You need to upgrade. You need to further strengthen because the environment is changing. So when the environment is changing, you need to change your capabilities. And then we call it, look at the line 4, it calls dynamic capabilities. The capabilities are changing in line with the changes in the environment. Otherwise, what will happen? The organization is really outdated. Take any organization. They may be really good at in doing something, but if they are not dynamic enough, if their capabilities are not dynamic, what will happen? They will be outdated. Look at, for example, Nokia, which was one of the greatest organization, which had the highest market share for mobile phones. But where are they now? Why that happens to them? Because they did not upgrade, they did not improve their capabilities, research and development, marketing, their supply chain, they couldn't develop. Whereas Apple, Samsung, even Huawei, they came up with lot of dynamic capabilities and they capture the marketplace. So that is what can happen even to bigger organization if you do not focus on developing your capabilities. So there are three generic types of dynamic capabilities, or there are three characteristics associated with dynamic capabilities. The number one is sensing. What is it? When you want your capabilities to be dynamic, you have to constantly scan, search, and explore the opportunities in the environment. You need to do a lot of research. Try to understand what is happening outside. The second thing, seizing, is not only doing research. What you need to do, once an opportunity is sensed, once you identify opportunity, you must capture that opportunity through new products, services, or processes, or your activities. Once the opportunity is available, when you capture it, you have to utilize it using your whatever the mechanism that you have. Number three, also important, reconfiguring. To seize an opportunity may require renewal and reconfiguration of capabilities. So when you want to capture an opportunity, when you want to really capitalize opportunity, you have to renew your organization capabilities as well. So these are some important facts that I can provide you about distinctive capabilities. So here you can see the capabilities of a market driven organization. So here I have divided this picture into external emphasis and the internal emphasis. So first we take the external emphasis. They are the outside in process. So what happens here, you look at the outside world and then you get that knowledge and you try to be updated. For example, you can do market sensing, market research, customer linking, channel bonding. You can have a bond or good relationship with the channel, which is external party, and you can monitor the technologies available. So that's basically outside knowledge you take to inside. Go to the other side, right hand corner, internal emphasis, inside out process. So here all these activities are inside activities: financial management, cost control, technology development within the organization, integrated logistics. You try to integrate your logistics in the organization, manufacturing or your transformation process, HRM, environmental and health safety aspect of your organization. So all these things are inside out, where you try to build up your capabilities within the organization. So these are the two sides. From one side you get the external knowledge into the organization, and the other one you try to develop your capabilities within the organization in order to capture the opportunities which are available in the outside world. We call inside out or internal emphasis. And then you bring these two together, and then you can develop uh, your organization to a great extent if you try to combine these two. So in a market driven organization, both of these aspects are really important. You try to have external emphasis or external orientation, internal orientation. Try to bring these two together in order to build up the capabilities of your organization. Because you cannot be just good inside. Your goodness, your capabilities should align with the external environment as well. Right? So you need to all the time compare your performance with the outside world. So external emphasis, internal emphasis, both are critical when you build up your capability in the organization. And then you can see here organization should shift from traditional specialization of business functions toward cross-functional business perspective. Why this is needed? Basically, your organizations have to be good at in cross-functional. The reason is one department cannot do everything. You have to move from traditional specialization of your organization to a modern perspective. So develop your process-driven organizations with new skill requirements, and you need to build up the talents within the organization. Even in the marketing team, even in the sales team, you have to build up the talents of your people. So you have to focus on relationship management, internal communication of your organization, try to build up a good culture, team building, resilience, try to be updated about the outside world. And there's a very important thing called agile, AGILE. Try to agile, try to change according to the outside world, try to be updated. And these are really important things if you really want to build up your organization in line with the outside changes. Now here you see it's a very good example, good case study to look into. This is an Sri Lankan product which is born in the global market, which was started by the person called Merrill Fernando. This gentleman actually had a lot of issues to start this company, because when he started it in 1990, the Dilmah brand, it was not an easy journey. The reason is multinational companies, basically British companies, were very dominant in the tea industry. And believe, Sri Lanka did not have powerful Sri Lankan tea brands in the world market. Even for the time being, only few are there. So this is one of it. So how this gentleman called Merrill Fernando has done this? He has a lot of capabilities. That's the interesting thing to understand. He's a tea taster by profession. Even by looking at this picture, you can see he can taste the tea and he can categorize it. That was his profession. He was doing this profession for more than 20-30 years time. And he worked for leading tea companies in the world. He knows the tea taste in different countries. He knows the preference for different type of teas all over the world. So he worked with a lot of people. He had a good network. Now you see here, he has a good knowledge in tea. He has a good network, and he's very skillful in tea tasting. So this allows him to start this organization called Dilma, one of the biggest brand right now that we have in the international marketing. So it's basically based on the skills, knowledge, and talents of this great entrepreneur. So development of your capabilities is really important for you to become market oriented. Then the interesting thing, the third fact is all about matching your customer value and the distinctive capabilities. What is really important, there may be a lot of customer values people are expecting from you, but you need to have a distinctive capability which can support it. Otherwise, it's going to be really difficult. So, what is important? Try to match these two. So, I can give you a good example here where it tries to match the customer value requirements and the distinctive capabilities. Look at Cargills in our country. The effective supply chain management provides higher quality for the customers. So, why people go to supermarkets rather than buying at Sunday fair? The reason is they want to get a quality product. They want to get value for whatever the money that they are spending. So what the Cargills has done, they identified it. You need to build up good supply chain management in order to deliver the good customer value. So you see here, customer value is all about creating a superior product with good customer service at the supermarket. But to do that, what you need to have good supply chain management, connecting with farmers. So they connected the two. Customer value is connected with the supply chain management in order to create more value to the customer. So this is the interesting thing. So this is what you need to do in modern marketing. You have to use your capabilities to deliver more value to the marketplace. So creating value for customers, I think we have already talked about this even in our previous courses, creating value for the customers. So this is the most interesting, most important thing in the modern marketing. If you don't do this, the organizations are unable to survive. So customer value is the outcome of a process that begins with a business strategy anchored in a deep understanding of your customer needs. You have to dig deep into the customer's mindset and understand their touch points, understand their pain points, and try to capture those touch points and pain points through your products and services. So customer satisfaction indicates how well your products use experience compares to the customer's value expectations, how far your product is meeting the needs of your people. So superior customer value results from very favorable use of your experiences. You need to have a very good marketing mix, very good product offerings in order to create customer value. Take for example supermarket. They are coming there not just to buy the product. Please remember, they are coming there to get a good experience while staying in that supermarket. So you need to create even the atmosphere to create good customer value. So this is a composition of what we call customer value. So you can see here, customer value is all about the difference between the benefits and the cost. So what are the benefits that you are going to give for a supermarket customer? You are going to give a good product. You are going to give good service, good parking, good customer service, and try to have good employees, trained employees who can treat the customers well. An image. People come to your supermarket rather than going to the Sunday fair. The reason is they want to get an image out of their shopping behavior. So customers should be benefited a lot, not only from your product, but also from other various aspects of your full delivery network. And then the cost includes monetary cost, that's the money that customers have to pay for your product. And the timing important, how long customers have to be in the queue in a supermarket. If that is a too lengthy time, they get frustrated. You need to minimize it. Psychic and physical cost. What are the other psychological cost? Can you park your vehicle really conveniently in this place? Otherwise, they have to park somewhere else, have to take a risk, and then you have to walk to the particular supermarket all the way. So it creates a big psychological cost. So what you need to do here, you have to maximize or increase benefits while reducing the cost. So that creates more customer value. So it's a kind of very comprehensive journey that you need to adopt in creating customer value. So we'll move into some new era or new aspects of strategic marketing. The world is changing. Strategic marketing faces unprecedented challenges and opportunities today. A lot of changes are there. Turbulent markets are changing a lot. Intense competition, disruptive innovations, a lot of innovations per day. Escalating customer demands, customers are demanding a lot of things. A lot of ethical challenges are there today. Societal and global change. So right now all of us are staying at home. Why? Because of the COVID-19 issue, which is a big social issue, which is a big political issue, which has impacted our economies a lot. So what you can see, there are a lot of changes are happening. So organizations have to consider it. The last point, social responsiveness of organization should also be improved. Organizations should be responsive for whatever the marketing that they do. So this is the new era. It's very challenging. Marketing is not that easy. Marketing managers have to be updated, be knowledgeable about these aspects as well. So take for example escalating globalization. So globalization was really good for one time, but now what the people are discussing, some are criticizing it is not good because of the globalization. This COVID-19 was spread all over the world. But can we stop globalization? Can't, because all of the countries are connected very intensely, because you can capture a lot of market opportunities when you go to the other markets, other countries. Competitive threats are there. Even in our local places, our local brands have to compete with global brands. Partnering opportunities are there when you are in a globalized business world. If your product is really good, you can find the partners from other countries. Outsourcing initiatives, you can outsource very easily some of your operations to other countries where the cost of production can be very less. The world's poor market has been created. For example, take India. A lot of poor market is there. A lot of opportunities are there within those poor markets for organizations in Sri Lanka to capture. So it is not all the time the Western market is really beneficial. We need to look into our closest countries to find out some new markets for our products and services. So we need to be really updated about it. Technological changes, lot of diversity, lot of uncertainty there. Radical new product opportunities are available. Nanotechnology can create products with a very low use of inputs. Social networking, everyone is connected. Internet of things can create very different business models. Take for example eBay or Alibaba. These are created. Why? Internet of Things, private space travel. People who have money, they are going for that. Digital homes. At homes, everyone is connected with the world now. Uber economy or sharing economies are there. People no longer want to own a vehicle because of the Uber economy. You can share or you can rent out a car or even a three-wheeler in our country when you have the technology. So what we can see, lot of innovations have been created through the technology. Ethical behavior. Please remember this also. Organizations have to take very seriously this matter. Ethical behavior and social responsiveness. Increasing demand for ethical challenges. A lot of ethical challenges are there. Marketing managers have to deal with a lot of ethical dilemmas. We'll talk about this in future lectures as well. Growing emphasis on corporate citizenship. You need to be a good corporate citizen to create value not only for the organization but also for the society that you are associating with. Corporate social responsibility. You have to move beyond from profit to other aspects. There's a model called Carroll's pyramid. You can just type it in Google. Carroll's pyramid, CARROLLS, then pyramid. He talks about organizations' responsibilities are 4 types. The lowest level is the economic responsibility, right? And you need to create money for the people in the organization. That is your responsibility as an organization. Legal responsibility. You have to abide by the rules and regulations in a particular country. You can't just manufacture product as you wish. You have to abide by the rules and regulations in that country. And then ethical responsibility, the third component. You need to do whatever the good things for the society. The final component is all about philanthropy. It's all about when you have something more, let's say money, you can donate it to other people. So organizations have to take the corporate social responsibility as well into their marketing as a kind of competitive tool. Responsibilities to multiple stakeholders. You have to consider all the stakeholders are important, not only your shareholders. So think about the organization from a very open mindset and try to improve, try to enhance your responsibility for other people in the society. That can even be done through marketing as well. Right now, this is the marketing and the strategy interface, or how these two is differentiated and also connected. So I have divided here the strategic planning and the marketing planning separately in order to tell the difference, but we have to see the relationships as well. So when you take strategic planning, concerned with overall long-term organizational direction. So when I defined even the term strategy, I highlighted this. The overall scope of the organization and the direction we consider in the long run when it comes to strategy or strategic planning. But when you take the marketing planning, what is important here, concerned with day-to-day performance and the results. So it's a little bit of a short-term focus. We try to meet our marketing goals and what our expectations are. So that's basically the difference in terms of the goals of the two aspects of strategic planning and marketing planning. Next point, overall orientation needed to match the organization to its environment. So we discussed that. Strategy is all about matching the organization with its external environment. So that's the orientation. That's what we are looking at in the strategic planning. Marketing planning, functional and professional orientations tend to predominate. What is a functional orientation? Function orientation is basically the marketing orientation, customer satisfaction. creating customer value. That is the orientation in marketing planning. Professional orientation means the marketer or the marketing manager, what are their orientations? So that can be to enhance the sales amount, that can be to enhance the number of new products which can be offered from the marketing department to the customers. So that's a functional and professional orientation is dominated there. So you can see the orientation wise also these are two different. Next thing, goals and strategies are evaluated from an overall perspective. So how you are evaluating your strategies and goals from the overall perspective? Have you achieved your results for the whole organization? You need to look from a very holistic perspective. But marketing planning goals are subdivided into specific targets. So you do your evaluation based on how far you achieved your marketing goals. So you see the difference in terms of the evaluation part. So strategic planning, you evaluate from an overall perspective. Marketing planning, you evaluate from a very specific marketing goals. Final point, relevance of goals and strategies only evident in the long term. So that is repeated of the very first thing even. Goals and strategies are evident or available in the long run. But here relevance of goals and strategies is immediately evident. You can see the marketing goals and marketing strategies from a immediate evident, from a little bit of a short-term orientation. So that's basically the linkage between these two of strategic planning and the marketing planning. Right. Now this is the difference between the corporate strategy and the marketing strategy. So we will be discussing all these things later in more detail. But for the time being, I am just trying to make you familiar with the terms. So if you look at the corporate strategy, what it says, the way a company creates value through the configuration of and coordination of its multi-market activities. So what you do there, corporate strategy create value for all the stakeholders, not only for your customers. We are creating the value for customers, your employees, your shareholders, the government and everyone. How you do that? You need to configure, you need to utilize all of your organization resources in different markets. Sometimes it is not only the B2C market where you sell your product to final customer. So it is a place where you are buying a product from another organization. We call B2B. So we look at the organization from a broader perspective under the corporate strategy. And you use your organization resources in different activities to create value for almost all the stakeholders. And also it decides the scope and the purpose of your business. So we discuss this. The scope is all about what are the activities you do in your markets and what markets you operate and what are the purpose of your business. So it basically deals with the scope and the overall purpose of your business. Objectives of the whole business. Initiatives and resources to achieve your objectives, mainly your corporate objectives. So you try to utilize your resources in order to achieve your corporate objectives under the corporate strategy. And then marketing strategy, which is coming from the corporate strategy. So what happens? Corporate strategy, the top management, which includes basically the CEO, the director board, even non-executive directors, and even some of the strategic planners, and even the marketing manager also can be part of the corporate management. And then they collectively, first of all, decide the corporate strategy, and based on that, the marketing strategy is derived. So you can see they are guided by the decisions of the top management. So marketing strategy all the time is guided by the top management. You can't do whatever you want in your own way. So they make decisions about how you can compete. What is the base of your competition? If you are an organization selling mobile phones, what would be the base of your competition? Are you going to compete based on price, or are you going to compete based on the quality of the product? That would be decided by the top management, and then you are there to make it happen. When to compete, when you are going to compete, and also where to compete, what are the markets that you are going to compete in. So what you can see, so you build up the corporate strategy, and from there you derive the marketing strategy. But marketing manager is also part of the corporate strategy development in some organizations. But we cannot exactly say that. Some organizations, marketing manager has a voice in the corporate strategy table as well. So that's why the marketing manager should have a good bargaining power to sit in the corporate table. Otherwise, he is unable to convince the organization the significance of creating customer value at the end of the day. Now we'll move into the next slide. Now in this slide, I want to show you the interrelationships between the corporate strategy, business, and also marketing strategy. So you look at first the corporate strategy, which talks about how you can create value using your organizational resources. And then from the corporate strategy, you can see here the strategic direction is shown from your corporate strategy. What are the strategic direction that you are going forward? Are you going to produce a new product, or are you going for a new market? Are you going for an international market? That will be guided from the corporate strategy. So corporate strategy determines the strategic direction, and also it determines the resources or the resource constraints. You are unable to utilize as much as resources you want as a marketing manager, even as a business level manager. That is decided by the corporate strategy. So your strategic directions and the level of resources or the resource constraints are decided by the corporate strategy, and based on that you have to work at the business and the marketing strategy. Now what is this business strategy? Business strategy is just coming above the marketing strategy. Now business strategy is all about how you can achieve the competitive advantage for your business unit in the organization. And then from this business strategy, the marketing strategy can be derived later. So we'll talk about this connection later, not right now, which takes a lot of time. And then based on the business and the marketing strategy, if you come back to this slide once again, from business and marketing strategy, what it gives to the corporate strategy? It gives market knowledge, because marketing people or the business level people are very close to the marketplace. They are very close to the real customers, so they know the marketplace. They can bring out, they can put forward the marketing knowledge to the corporate strategy. That's what I told you. Marketing manager, it is better if he can sit in the corporate table, then he can convey this marketing knowledge or the customer knowledge into the organization when they make even the corporate strategy decisions. And also they can point out opportunities as well as threats available in the marketplace, because as I told you, business and marketing people are close to the marketplace. So you can see the interrelationships between these two components of corporate strategy and the business and marketing strategy. Right, now we'll try to define what is strategic marketing. Now you can see strategic marketing is basically a combination of business strategy and the marketing. So here you can see in the definition it says marketing strategy consists of the analysis. You have to do analysis to understand what is your current situation in the organization, in the external environment. So you have to do analysis to understand your current position, and then you develop the strategy based on your analysis, and then finally you implement your strategies. So marketing strategy consists of these three components called analysis, strategy development, or some people call it strategy choices, and then implementation. So this is even we call it strategic management process: analysis, development, or choice, or implementation. And then you apply this strategic management process into marketing. That's what strategic marketing is all about. So here what you do, you can see if you read the first paragraph: developing a vision about the market of interest to the organization. So you may be interested about a particular market, and then you develop a dream about it, how you are going to capture that market, and select the market target or your target market out of this the whole market which is available. And then you set your objectives, and then you develop your business strategies, your marketing strategies, and then also your marketing program. Right? What marketing program is all about, your marketing mix. Can you understand? I think now here there's a strategic part as well as a marketing part. So strategic part mainly talks about the overall scope, the overall objectives of the organization. And also you have a marketing part as well, where the marketing mix, your STP, comes together. So what you do here, your strategy part and your marketing part, you take it together and try to make it as a one tool to add value to the customers in the marketplace. So that's basically about strategic marketing. You combine the strategy plus marketing to finally create value for your customers. Why you need to create, why you want to link this strategy aspect into your marketing? The reason is, if you are not doing that, you are not creating value for the whole organization. You are not creating value for all the stakeholders in the organization. And you have a big influence as a marketing manager from your corporate level. So you need to combine these two, strategy and the marketing, to create value for the customers at the end. Right. Now this discussion can lead us to the marketing strategy process, which consists of four components. Number one, strategic situation analysis. So that's what we discuss. It's all about analyzing your internal as well as your external environment to understand where you are at the moment. Because without understanding your current position, it's difficult to determine what you are going to do in the future. So that's the number one. Number two, designing a marketing strategy based on your analysis. And also please remember, when you design your marketing strategy, you are influenced from the corporate management to incorporate some corporate aspect, some strategic aspect into your marketing. And then number three is purely marketing. What is it? Marketing program development. This is what you learned as 7 P's or marketing mix. So where you try to come up with the marketing mix strategy in order to support your main marketing strategy, which came from the corporate strategy as well. Then number four, you try to implement your marketing strategy along with your marketing program and try to see whether things are moving in your desired way. So this is what we call the marketing strategy process, and this is continued because you can't just stop this one. Organizations are evolving, markets are changing, so you need to change your marketing as well in line with the external dynamics in the organization. Right. Strategic role of marketing. So what is the marketing can do in favor of the organization strategies? Achieving a competitive advantage. So marketing activities can be directed to build up a competitive advantage for the organization. For example, if you come up with a good quality product, at the end of the day, it adds value to the whole organization. Your marketing staff and the sales staff knowledge, if it is up to the standard, then people will talk more favorably about the organization, which can lead you to gain a competitive advantage. So marketing can bring out some strategic advantages for the organization, increase market share. So you have a lot of things to do there. If you do your sales promotion campaigns well, if you do your sponsorships really well, obviously it can increase your market share. Improve brand awareness. Brand is one of the greatest intangible asset of any organization. So you can contribute to that very directly from the marketing department, which can ultimately enhance the whole resource base of your organization. Final point, profit maximization. Obviously, marketing department has a direct role to play in improving the profit, which can enhance the overall organization performance at the end of the day. So what you can see here, all these roles that you are playing as a marketing department can improve the whole organization performance, which means you can create greater value from your organization if you have good marketing activities in the organization. Right, now these are the discussion questions from the today's lesson. I hope you will review our lecture and this particular PowerPoint and try to find out the answers for these questions. Even you can get the support of our discussion class lecturer, Ms. Vatsala, will also help you in this regard. So with that, we will wind up for the today, and I hope to do the second video recording as well with regard to our second lecture. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email me, or you can even take a phone call and contact me at any time for some further discussions. So with that, we will wind up for the today and hope to see you from the second lecture as well. Thank you.